Dear Maxine, how are you? Have you received all my letters? I think there's about 10 of them. I saw the doctor today and he says I might get the plasters off tomorrow and just a few days in sick bay after that. It's just 2 days till Puerto Rico now. The weather's boiling, but there's a cool breeze, so it isn't too bad.
I think that saying that the clergy ashore often come across as being very professional and almost pious and constrained, and that the naval chaplain is less pious, more extrovert, ebullient, a sort of drinking, rootin', tootin', swearing Christian, if there is such a thing, has a grain of truth in it for two reasons. The priest ashore is in a set environment and tends to project the image which his parishioners expect of him, and the constraints which shoreside parishioners place upon their clergy is pretty considerable.
In our service with the hymn number 3.
A chaplain who is ministering to sailors as they really are and making no bones about it could find himself in a difficult situation, because the captain then, rather than expecting him to be a sailor's chaplain, which is what he's really born for, could want him to be the preacher of establishment-y type standards and conventional morality. I mean, Jesus Christ consorted with sinners and was friends with prostitutes.
Almighty God.
In technical terms, my most important function is to provide the sacraments and care for the Christian souls committed to my charge. But having said that, I am the one person in the ship who is rankless and am situated amidships. And I have a door which is conspicuous, and they bang on that door and they expect to get a compassionate, friendly, understanding reception. Just after Christmas, how do you feel now?
Well, I feel a lot better than what I was when I first came.
Can you remember what made you feel sad?
I've no real idea. I can't really explain it. I suppose it was some sort of homesickness, being so close to home.
Well, there was a bang on the door, and I opened the door, and there was this young lad standing, hunched really, very sad, very upset, very runny-nosed, tears cascading down his cheeks, and he almost fell into the cabin. I steadied him and sat him down and said, "What's the trouble?" "Can't stand it anymore, sir. Can't stand it." Everything, from his point of view, seemed to have gone wrong. It was a big, nasty lump of steel with dirt and pipes all over the place, hissing steam, dripping water. Having said all that, he was then anxious to know, is it just me? It was very reassuring for him, and I think it's reassuring for all of us to know that it wasn't just him, that others had been this way before, and his weren't the first tears to have fallen on the chaplain's settee. You're looking a lot more cheerful now than you did 2 months ago, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you're on the up and up and up. Yeah.
Hear us, O Lord, have mercy upon us, for we have sinned against thee.
Since you are God's people, it is not right that any questions of immorality or indecency or greed should even be mentioned among you. Nor is it fitting for you to use obscene, foolish, or dirty words. That is why...
And I think that most sailors do expect to find in the official representative of the church, they know that Jesus Christ was a loving, kind, compassionate, accepting man, somebody who accepted Mary Magdalene, who accepted Mary and Martha, and they are looking for the same thing. If I can give you an example, a simple one from language, in this ship, all sorts of language is used. Bugger and bloody is commonplace. And common parlance in the ship, almost a term of endearment from one sailor to another, would be, "Hello, you fucking wanker." Now, if one expresses shock, horror and surprise to a man that says that, then he is going to switch off. And I think this is true of a chaplain. If a chaplain walks into a mess and the greeting is, "Here's the fucking chaplain," if I threw my arms up in horror and said, I can't stand that language, I think that I'd be respected. I think they would accept me as the chaplain and think he's a holy guy and he's anti-bad language. But most sailors use this bad language in an idiomatic fashion to express their gut feeling. And if you restrict their use of bad language, then it seems to me their true emotional state will never properly register because it's so much part of their life. I do not mind using their language because it seems to me that I can make a point to them. I can make the distinction between blasphemy and swearing. Swearing is merely ignorance of the English language. If one turns around to me and says, "Jesus wept, Padre," then I can make the point heavily and forcefully that they are really upsetting me, that they are using the name of someone that I love in an offensive way, and it sort of sticks in my gullet and I would like to knuckle them. My standard reply is, if you want to swear, sure, I'll give you a list of sort of 24 approved words. I know as many as you. I did my national service in the Royal Navy. But don't blaspheme, and they will take the point. They'll say, "Oh yeah, we see what you're on about, Padre."
The body of Christ keep you in eternal life.
I don't think the Navy is any more immoral than people living in England. I think the opportunities are greater when we're ashore, but bear in mind we are deprived for much longer periods of time than the ordinary male in UK. And what cheers me is the sailor's honesty about his situation. And I think the sailor, in that respect, is a much more open chap to deal with than the civilian who tries to cloud and colour his actions with sort of layers of conventional behaviour. I don't think there's the gap in the Navy between what a chap thinks he ought to do and what he does do. I think he sees himself as he really is. And he probably regards himself as a bigger sinner than most people, but in fact I don't think he really is at all.
Good evening. Our question of the week this week is, do you know enough about VD? In the studio this evening are our two doctors, both young and hot-blooded, with the same temptations as you, and they are going to talk about what you might not know about VD. There are 2 points I'd like to make. This isn't a commercial because we're going to Puerto Rico. It arose naturally out of last week's programme when we discussed marital fidelity and whether blokes that aren't engaged should be faithful to their girlfriends. Yeah, can do. You mean it's possible to have sexual intercourse, think you have caught VD, sort of, but become phobic about it, and then 2 or 3 days later it disappears and you think I was imagining it. You mean that I could be sorely tempted and suddenly when I'm a bishop not find out the sins of visiting me later, or what? Yes, of course.
It'd be funny if he got to do something.
See how many times you go ashore.
That's all he wants to know about it, that's all he's there for. He wants to find out for himself.
Best time to estimate alteration, very slightly early. Affirmative, we've altered early. Deliberately, we shall be stepping around in short steps. All right.
Ease to 10.
Ease to 10.
10 o'clock, well on front?
No.
We're coming up the approach channel now. We've got 2 ships from Stano 4 land coming out on the port bow. Our next alteration will be to port. Aye, aye, sir. Chief Yeoman, make to that Dutch frigate, Isaac. Am about to turn to port.
He's moving a bit late.
Has he got plenty of water to go out here if he wants? Yes, sir. Well, I hope he wants.
This blind estimate, we're maintaining approximately half a cable to port and through.
We'll pay you.
Yeah, we hired a coach especially to come here.
There's 40 of us.
There's one coach.
One coach. We leave the coach here, and then it comes back to pick us up at 5:30.
5:30?
Yeah.
Or 5 o'clock.
Whatever time you want us off.
What time you say?
Yes. You said that stay here 10 minutes. It's the boss come here. The boss.
Yeah.
Come here. It's 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
Right, when the boss comes off, we're getting there.
No, he says when the boss comes back. Didn't he?
Or when the boss comes back. Well, one or the other. It's either when the boss goes or when the boss comes back. We'll get in there because they're not going to turn down dollars, Tony, are they?
Here's another glass of that wine, Jimmy. When needs a beach, get the barbecue out.
Get out that barbecue. Yeah, that tastes like McEwen's to me. Hey, Butch. Get out of it. I'm trying to focus you. Who's that one here? Puerto Rico.
He goes to the town. Go to the town.
Yeah.
Maybe 10, 15 minutes.
Boss, or the boss is not here.
The boss is in town.
Go to the town.
So we got to wait for him to come back before you can make your mind up.
10 or 15 minutes.
Why is it closed?
They go to the cherry, the gas station.
Why is the beach closed?
Closed?
Yeah, why? Why is it closed today?
Because every Monday closed.
Every Monday?
Closed, yeah. This is cleaning.
You know, we've got our own gash bags and everything. We're not going to make any mess or anything. You know?
The thing is, we've only just come from England today, you see.
We only just arrived this morning.
Every year we come here, and we always come onto your beach every year. But we always come for the weekend, you know, Saturday
Normally
or
it's
Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday.
You know.
But this time it's different.
Time, ship only got in this morning. I know. Yeah, I know.
We walk 2 months over here.
Yeah. Hey, should we try that? Ken, should we try that other beach down the road?
Well, the drive's here.
left tonight. This go round there.
Because the islands are very much.
What's all this for, Wait, so they only got 6 cans and everything.
Come on! We'll go down the other beach, and we gotta go somewhere. Down behind the town.
Yeah. Get on the bus, lads.
Get on the bus! Oh, boy! Me too.
If you fancy come on the ship tonight, You know, by all means, if you feel like it.
I would love to.
I don't know, have you got any friends here that would like to come on board?
There are 3 very pretty girls staying in the corridor. Maybe I could get
Well,
them.
if you would like to, they're welcome.
Good evening. All this special in your honour. Nice to see you all. Would you like to go off? How do you do, David? Nice to meet you.
Farewell and adieu to you Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu to you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail to old England, but we hope in a short time to see you again.
We'll rant and we'll roar like true British sailors. We'll rage and we'll roll for all the salt seas until we strike soundings in the channel of old England. From Ashore to Scilly is 35 feet.
Well, I think he's been in a fight. He's been beaten up.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, keep still. Oh. No.
Come on, keep down still. Come on.
No.
Come on, keep still for a moment.
Oh,
come on.
Yeah, I think his nose is probably gone, but it's pretty central. It's not really edge.
What about the zygomas on the left side?
Right, they're all right. He's not particularly tender there. He's not particularly tender there. You can't really tell that unless you've gone unconscious, because you've got to go for the sensation. I see you had a boot there. Everyone seems to mind just fine. Don't think that's virginity. Didn't get much chance to put up a defence by the looks of it. Not much.
We says, well, you said $5 only each. He says, yeah. And then he carried on a bit more in his language to the other bloke, and he says, right, we want your money and possessions.
Then all of a sudden, next minute, 2 knives in the throat.
Where?
In the throats at first. and then his stomach.
What did he say?
He just says, all your money. And I'd only got $2 on me. I give him the $5, I got $2 more on me.
But I had a watch and a ring. I had my money down in my sock with my ID card. And he says, your watch. I says, I've no watch. So I had it in my pocket actually, so he went through my pocket. He got my cigarettes, my watch, my ring, and that was it.
How much money did you have down in?
I had $6 down my sock. And then he took our shoes and everything. Don't know where he put the shoes.
He made us run with our hands up while they got their knife in the back. And we run along the road for about 150 yards. They're still behind us with the knife and no shoes on. And all of a sudden they just run back, and by this time one of the girls had got their car revved up. And they just dived in the car and drove off.
You're here for Riley? Cartwright, no. Yeah. Oh, you're there for Cartwright, sir?
Here I am,
Sir, we're about 5-6 minutes late.
That's all right, I've got 30 customers.
Yeah, and I've got a commander waiting, sir, and I'm not used to keeping commanders waiting. Commander, this report as the witness is... Ow!
You were dragged along the jetty, carried up the brow, taken to the sick bay, spewed all over the deck, and spent your night in cells. I hope you are not too pleased with yourself.
Leading Airman Powell. Off a cap. On the 2nd of March, without reasonable excuse, did fail to attend the muster of both watches of the flight deck party to 800 a muster it was his duty to attend. Do you understand the charge?
Sir.
How do you plead?
Guilty.
Who pleads guilty, sir?
Brief facts, please, Lieutenant.
So on the morning in question, Powell failed to turn up at the muster on the flight deck, which Petty Officer Hathaway was conducting. In fact, a search was initiated around the Air Department to see whether, in fact, Powell had been seen by anyone. He had, in fact, been shaken, it appears, by Leading Airman Halford, and Powell was not then seen again until 1100 by Halford, and in fact was not seen by anybody really in authority until 1315. Even his divisional officer was involved in the actual search.
What I want to know, Powell, is where were you?
I went to late breakfast, sir, and I went round and started doing mess checklists. We had a couple of lads doing a mess change. I went down to the Met mess, had a cup of coffee, and I got back to the mess at about 11:15, 20 to 11. So in fact, I made a fool of myself. I should have went up to the flight deck and let them know where I were. But the killick of the mess normally stays down the messing harbour, and I just slipped up.
The only time anybody of authority saw him, sir, was at 13:15 when he was seen by Mr. Doyle. And that's from the time that Alford is supposed to have shaken him. I don't disbelieve Alford, sir. But Alford says he shook him at 8:05. No sign, anybody saw no sign of him at all.
Well, Powell, I honestly don't know what to believe in this case, except for the fact that you weren't at the muster at 8 o'clock. And why? Because you were still in your flaming pit. Leading hand of the mess on a working day, still in your pit at turn 2. That's a fine example, isn't it? Well, yes, of course, I know Leading Airman Powell well. Both the good and the bad, and the good's jolly good. But oh my God, when we get into harbour, and you get ashore for a few wets, and then come back on board, it all goes down the drain, doesn't it, Powell? Your old sense of irresponsibility comes to the fore. And when that happens, you're no more fit to be a leading hand than the man in the moon. This had better be the last time you appear before me on this deployment with your cap off, Powell. By golly, there had better be no repetition of this at all. Clear?
Sir.
Fine £15.
Fine £15 on cap. Left turn, left wheel quick march. Carry on.
Yes, I'm not at all happy that the truth has come out of this matter. Yes, he was absent from both watches. I'm not sure at all that I necessarily believe where he was. I've dealt with it on the grounds that he was absent from both watches. But if Powell is going to play silly games, Powell had better just watch out. I hope he's well aware of this. He had one fright last year. I don't want Powell going back into his old ways, all right? Thank you.
Well, our beach party came off at last. We had a few problems. The beach we'd planned to go to originally was closed, but we found a beautiful beach just down the road from where we had planned, so it all turned out okay in the end. We had our own hamburgers, which we cooked ourselves, and beer, of course. I had a bit too much to drink as usual. I fell over and ended up in sick bay with a bruised ligament. The doc says I've been here for a couple of days. That can't be bad, can it?